Boom! What's going on, Investomaniacs? Your boy Knight Rider here, and today we're going to be discussing the new Slack and Amazon partnership. Slack and Amazon have entered a multi-year partnership where all Amazon employees will start using Slack. Slack's largest customer to date has been IBM, that was just a couple months ago, and they're 350,000 employees. So landing Amazon's whopping 840,000 employees is kind of a big deal. What does Amazon get? Slack will exclusively use AWS, Amazon Web Services, including storage, database, computing, security, analytics, and machine learning. Slack will also adopt Amazon's Chime platform for voice and video calling, an area where Slack has, sucked. And Slack will also begin using AWS Chatbot in place of Slack channel alerts. These integrations should significantly improve Slack's product offering and make them more competitive with Microsoft's Teams. Although Slack has been continuing to grow at a quick speed, it has been losing market share to Microsoft's Teams even quicker. Thus, it makes sense that Slack would prefer to use AWS compared to Microsoft's Azure, right? Don't exactly want to fund your competitor. Similarly, as Amazon competes with Microsoft on the cloud front, it makes sense that they would prefer to use Slack over Microsoft Teams. This integration is much needed for Slack to level the playing field with Teams in regard to appealing to enterprise customers. Slack has been losing market share so badly, Slack CEO Stuart Butterfield was whining and moaning like a baby about how Microsoft was, quote, unhealthily preoccupied with killing Slack. By the way, do you want to invest in a company where Microsoft is allegedly hellbound on destroying you? Probably not a good idea. Probably not a smart thing for the CEO to do. I mean, I just see this CEO saying and doing a lot of things that are just silly. Is that a nice word to use? Silly? Oh, by the way, how far CEO Butterfield's hubris has fallen since his foolhardy New York Times advertisement. By the way, if you haven't read this, where they were directly coming at Microsoft when they started competing with Microsoft Teams, you should check it out before you invest in Slack to fully comprehend how incompetent Butterfield is, and then ask yourself, hey, does putting an ad out in the New York Times directly against Microsoft when they're coming into your space, does that seem like something a high quality CEO would do? No, it seems like something a silly CEO would do. By the way, I'm not saying they're not growing. They're still growing. I'm just saying it's not really where I want to put my money to bet long term. I want to have a company that's growing that it doesn't have Microsoft trying to destroy them, and where I actually like the CEO, what he's saying, what he's doing, and I don't see him doing these silly things. Microsoft has been bundling Teams along with Office 365. As many businesses already use Office 365, this seamless integration with Outlook, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint has notable value.
That was easy.
Teams has performed extremely well during the corona economy and hit 75 million daily active users, a monstrous jump from the 44 million pre-corona daily active users. That's not to say that Slack isn't growing. Slack is a common choice for businesses which compete directly with Microsoft or don't already use Microsoft products. At least then the companies don't have a predisposition to going with Microsoft, and they can look at the two a little bit more evenly. Even then, they still tend to go with Microsoft's. It's just a better offering. But nonetheless, it did report over 122,000 paid customers, which is a respectable 28% increase from a year ago, and there are 750,000 businesses using Slack if you include the free version, which is an uptick from 660,000 the previous quarter. CEO Butterfield thinks Slack's most recent quarter was, quote, phenomenal, with its 50% top-line growth on a year-over-year basis. Oh, Butterfield, is that what you think?
It doesn't matter what you think.
Investors didn't think so, and that's why the stock dropped over 14% the next day of trading and has continued to drop. While 50% top line growth is great and a hair quicker than the 49% the previous quarter, investors were expecting and considering more due to the work from home mandates during the quarter that should have spurred significant demand over previous quarters for their product. My thoughts, hey, at least from what has been publicly released, I see no downside to this deal for Amazon. It makes sense. I think it's another great decision from a great company. I like Amazon. I also like the partnership for Slack. I'm going to be fair. I think it's a good partnership for Slack, and it makes up for areas where they have been lacking, and I think it will help them be more competitive with Microsoft Teams. Will it make them competitive enough? I'm not going to bet my money on it. While they may ultimately thrive as a distant second to Microsoft, the possibility of being destroyed, at least to the point where you're not making money as an investor, is just too real of a possibility. As far as Microsoft is concerned, come on, man. CEO Satya Nadella has been a beast, and as long as he's at the head, I wouldn't bet against Microsoft or their stock. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Peace.